Guys, get it closer to the air. Guys, here we are. I already saw it.
Protected. I don't know. It's got a nice view, and I'm sure the other things. And so when they started digging, they started finding different things from all different kinds of periods, including from the period of King David. And one of them is this capital right behind me, which is the top of the pillar. Does it look familiar to any of you guys? It's not a ram, but
does anyone have a 5 shekel piece on them?
How many of you have used a 5 shekel coin in your visit here? But if you look on the other side, the side that it is not the number 5 on it, you will see a very similar shaped design to this, because
this is the other
this was not found just...
He has the face 5 shekel. He has the wrong 5 shekel. Anyone have another 5 shekel?
So if someone finds, we'll pass it around. But basically, these were found all over Israel. Also, I believe in Ramat Rachel and other places. And they were assigned... They were assigned...
5 shekel with the capital on it.
I have one here.
Nice, so you can pass it around and you can see that it's very similar.
But what does that represent?
It represents a lot of wealth. It represents a place that is respected, that is proper, that is fancy, just like a castle. And it gave more evidence that we are standing exactly where King David's castle might have stood and where David stood. So if we continue along over
Monumental architecture from David's period all over Israel has the
Okay. I got it.
I think Aubrey would be a great guide during national service.
Maybe disagree. Yes. Jump off. We love hate relationships. We love to hate. Solid.
You're gonna get Are you kidding? You are? No, I got They never did before.
Like we said, there was a lot of findings done here, and one of the things they found were 52 bulos, which are seals. Back in the day, in the old days, if you wanted to communicate with someone, this was before WhatsApp, before texting, and even before emails, you had Abba was born? Before Abba was born. You had to actually write a letter. So what you would do is you would roll it up and tie around a string. But the problem with that is that anyone could open it and read it. So what they would do, they would use a seal. They would take a bit of clay, they would stick it on the rolled piece of parchment, and they would engrave their names. And that way, when a person wanted to read it, they would have to break the seal, and only the person who was meant to read the letter would read it. So the fact that they found 52 unbroken seals here leads us to believe that this was a place, it was more of an official location. It could have been a post office, it could have been an archive. Actually, 3 of the seals that are found here, they have the names of people that are mentioned in the Tanakh, in the Bible, in the book of Yirmiyahu, I believe in Perek Lamed, which is 36. 2 of them, there's a picture of these seals here somewhere if I find them, but they're in the back. There were, and one of them was actually the Sofer HaMelech, the king's scribe. Exactly. You just skipped on it, I saw it. No, not by that much, by 1 page. No,
That was 1 page. Just another.
She'll find it.
yeah, I'll find it. There we go. No.
Let her read.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is, my mom gave out for all the young kids or whoever is a young kid at heart, you can take a bit of clay and engrave your name in ancient Hebrew. We're also giving out some little pieces of paper with translation of the alphabet. Yes, I'm
I want to add one thing that some people might find interesting. In those days, the wealthy were the ones who wrote the letters and they had their own stamps. But the poor didn't really have their own stamps. But when they had to sign a document like that, what did they do? So some people suggest the tzitzit, you know, the talus that we put on and the tzitzit and the strings, that they would put that on and that was their sign. So one of the reasons why we wear the tzitzit is to connect to the poor of old, of a way of declaring that we are testifying that we are making this connection.
Okay, so here's just a picture. You can see these are two names of ministers in the time of Yirmiyahu, as well as in addition to Mariyahu Shaphat, who was and this is how it looks. So while you guys are doing that, I'll just explain to everyone else that if you take a look at these findings, what do you see? What do you think it looks like? You might have to squint a bit.
Can I see?
Yes, that's a bathroom. We're not there. But this is actually, it was a house, and it was a two-story house. You see the steps over there, there's the pillars, and there's an extra little room over there. This house is actually called, I believe, Beit Achiel, because there were found a lot of pieces of pottery, and on one of the pieces of pottery was found the name Achiel. So from the fact that there is a lot of pieces of pottery, what can we understand?
It's a pottery house.
Good idea.
Like people making pottery.
Well, there were a lot of vases, but what does that mean?
It was a wealthy house, and
If it
they
was a very
entertained.
wealthy house,
They
this
had
was a
company.
storage room. They had a lot of food.
Why in the prophets it says David was not allowed to build the holy temple, because the temple is a place of peace and love, and he had blood on his hands. He was a warrior. He had to fight for the land, so he was not allowed to build the temple. His son Solomon then built the temple. But someone already said it. The most important resource was water. So the problem with Yer David was that the spring that was next to this Canaanite town was outside the boundaries of the city. So what they needed to do was build a wall around the spring and also have a way of transporting that water to a place where the people can access it. So that is what we are going to be looking at now. We're going to be going all the way down to where the spring existed and also to where the pool existed that then transported the water. And eventually, those with water shoes will be walking through the water tunnel that was later built to disperse the water to other places within the city. Just if you're keeping track of the chronology of what we're doing, we said David's city was just this first initial red triangle. Solomon expanded it to include Mount Moriah, where the temple was. And then in the next period of Hizkiyahu, it also included a little bit more Mount Zion and a little bit more of Jerusalem. And that's at that period the water tunnel was built. So that's where we're going to be heading now.
We're now going through the tunnels.
Just go back to where you came.
So we just came out of the tunnels and went to the bottom of Silwan.
Oh, we started?
Yes.
One less thing.
There are the kids coming back from the water tunnel.
You have to bend over. Only in one spot.
To take the shuttle, we're gonna go up one exit, and whoever wants to walk will go up the other. Gabriella.
Whoa, James. I know. Okay, so.
Oh, and Chrissy had the idea that we should first take a family picture.
So, as my mom already said, this was Jerusalem in the time of King David. His son Solomon added that, and that is where the temple was built. And then 300 years later, the King Chizkiyahu expanded Jerusalem and built a wall around it to protect it. But he had to do more to protect the city. He had to bring the water into the city. And since he expanded it, there was a part of the city that was lower than the spring. So what they wanted to do was build a tunnel from the spring that would come into the city. And like we discussed on Friday, they put people at point A and point B here and at the beginning of the tunnels so it could be quicker. The problem is there's a mountain in between them. They don't have technology. How do you get two groups of people to meet in the middle? And so we could see here, this is the path that they did. This is where we are, this is where we started. So you could see that they started going in that direction, and so did they, and they realized that they would not meet. So they turned, and then at that point, they started hearing the group on the other side with their axes hitting the stone. And so they went towards the noise and started meeting each other. I would have thought we could maybe have someone on that end and that end, like walk blindfoldedly towards each other, but seeing as we've already had a few slips, we're not gonna do that. Yes?
Is there a reason why it's like so significantly higher on this side and like so much lower, like where we started? The cave is like so much higher. The ceiling is built so much higher, and there it's built like much lower.
Well, probably they had more energy.
Yeah, they ran out of steam.
I mean, they were two different groups. They used two groups. It still took them 4 years until they met in the middle. And then, in the moment they met, it was a momentous moment, and they wanted to mark that. So, in the cave, what they found were this sign in which they carved the story of, it was found and translated, of what happened. Here's the ancient Hebrew.
That's amazing.
And if you want to understand what it says, someone can read either language.
You want to give it to one person to read, maybe?
Tunneling is completed, and this is the account of the tunneling. While the hewers were swinging their axes one group towards the other, with 3 cubits yet to be hewn, a man's voice was heard calling out to his fellow worker, where there was a zidah, a fissure in the rock.
Many amazing people before us, but still we are moving forward, we're building, we're adding. But while we are looking forward, we are still cherishing our history and not forgetting our past. So what I hope for you, Bat Mitzvah girls, is that you know where you have come from, and possibly that will help you know where you want to go.
Just a little snack time. No problem, no problem. Picture time, snack time.
I don't love any of this.
And then, oh, who's that? That's Ellie. It's the brother of the Bat Mitzvah girl.
Where's Ellie? Oh, there he is. I found napkins. Okay, do you have still some on your house? Feel better?
No problem.
See what I mean? Guys, okay.
Ian, we want to organize one picture.
One photo.
All the cousins.
Cousins or
Guys don't really have to want to slim down.
guys? Do you want a tree in the background or?
Aren't we right?
Okay, we're now going to the Chabad food pantry. Welcome to the Pantry Packers.
Yes, we're done.
Were you guys also playing the song yet?
Oh no, we didn't play. Stop it, please stop. Stop missing it.
Richie, is this the way in here?
We're now inside the room of Pantry Packers.
Where are we going to do that?
There's Diane. On her BlackBerry, on her iPhone.
There's nothing much doing. There's no factories here. There's no way to support ourselves. Please send us money. There are a group of, let's say, about 400 families from North Africa, like Sephardic families that were living here, and they were barely able to take care of themselves. And a bunch of Hasidim landing in town.
Where did the Hasidim come from? Russia?
What kind of name is that exact city? Well, not Russia. Latvia? Whatever, some, like,
Eastern Europe.
yeah, that area. I don't know. Yeah. And so they asked, please send us money so we could live here, or else we're going back. We opened up a fund to help support them. It was called Kolo Chabad, a collection for Chabad students. That organization has been going on ever since, throughout all the generations. And it's blossomed, of course, significantly since the country opened up, the state of Israel. And now that 90% of the people we help are not Hasidim. We work with the welfare department, with the National Food Security Program. It's in 24 cities on a pilot program now. We're waiting for some politicians to approve it, so it'll be for the whole country. And there's the food banks, the soup kitchens. You've been to the Kotel? Overlooking the Kotel is one of 23 soup kitchens. New Yorkers?
Right, Luxembourg
You
family.
know Arthur?
I do.
Okay, give him a hug when you see him.
I will.
So he's the chairman of the Soup Kitchen Network. The subsidized wedding halls, widow and orphan support. We just made a bar mitzvah for 70 orphan boys and 40 orphan girls right before Pesach. Dental clinics, multiple sclerosis rehabilitation center. We have the only one in Israel in Migdal Emek, and another one under construction in Jerusalem. It's a humanitarian, a network of daycare centers, again to help moms go out and work. Israel will help pay for the daycare, for the kids, the cost of education, but they won't pay for the buildings. So that's like, you wouldn't really think a nonprofit would go build a daycare, but that's where we come in. We put a building, empowering moms to go out and work. So we have like 7 or 8, some under construction. But the main part of what we do is food. Food security, delivering food. 8,500 families every month receive food. Some will receive a card that they can use in a supermarket, some with the food stamps. But those we are rolling out to families which, if you might say, are responsible to buy proper food. Unfortunately, when a family has a rough time, they're not usually focused on getting healthy food. They're just trying to put something in their mouth. And that's why the food boxes, even though it's not as dignified, but you're making sure that they get healthy food items.
So there are, each one gets here a bag. They put on it a sticker on the back, and in the front, they put like a little sticker like that. And they stamp it like when it gets expired. Then there are 3 people here. There's one person that throws the takes the shovel, throws the rest there, and probably goes here. Then there's a person that stands here with the bag and has to make sure and everything. And there's a guy here that presses the
What happens in the press?
Then it's like this. You bring it here and you pass it through here. After 20 something, you put it in here and
48. Yeah, you're manufacturing bags. I don't have the stickers
We have a little, we had a little special luncheon in honor of Darya's bat mitzvah. We went to, we were going to go to the heifer, the red heifer or whatever it's called. No, the red heifer is that's a chumash or something. But it was closed, so we went to Angelica. So, Darya, what'd you think? Did you have a good lunch? Nice little bat mitzvah lunch? And she's been critiquing all of my still photos over the last 2 years.
Because you take well and do like that.
And now, taking a close-up of Darya.
Oh, see that? I have is a young female cow. I thought, I had a feeling it was.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you had that in your slideshow, the tongue.
Oh, especially one that has not had
Oh,
a cow.
stop it. That's not nice. It's not nice. You're a beautiful young woman. So. Darya, we hope to join you on many other happy occasions in the future, other celebrations that you're going to have. And continue.
You know my phone is the same brand of that thing, Sunny.
Is that right? Sony.
Sony.
Yeah. So may you go from strength to strength. This is the sushi party. The guests are really going to town. Attacking the sushi.
I kind of want to.
If you need more,
You needed my help.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay.
No, tell them. I started being allergic.
So this is what you have every birthday, don't you? I would find out the same way you would.
You ready?
There is the hostess, Rachel Shoulder-Abrams Pear, planner, designer, lecturer, organizer, mother.
You're strong. Way stronger than Darya.
Let's do it.
Ready? Jump.
I'm doing leaning.
They both beat me. Swirl that around.
Because they all have D's on them. So she gave me this ring with a D, and she gave me this pin with a D, and she gave me this necklace with a D, so that you will always remember her. And I do have another blessing for you, aside from following in the footsteps of your wonderful mom and dad. When you get ready and you're looking for a potential mate or husband,
I knew you were going to like this. I knew it. I know he has to have a good voice.
Make sure it's a
And he
nice
has to
Jewish
be-
boy.
wait a minute, as
You know,
I
you
told
don't care about
Darya,
the
there's
guy
no
being
pressure to get married, but I do
That's
have
fine.
my dress ready. But make sure you get a good mother-in-law, because Grandma Darya is the best mother-in-law in the whole world. We used to laugh and talk and have so much fun together. And from the minute I met her, she was just so kind and so good to me. Because, you know, mothers-in-laws and daughters-in-law don't always get along together. As a matter of fact, I think there's a law in Jewish law that
You're not allowed to get along?
you can't testify against each other in court because you're assumed to have an antagonistic relationship. You can tell the truth about each other. So, because naturally you'll see who the guy is. You have to check out his mother. And if he has a good mother and he loves and he respects his mother, he will love and respect you and take good care of you just like Grandpa Bob. Always took good care of me. And happy birthday, July 4th. By the way, you know, the reason Bob had to be born on July 4th was because the stores closed on July 4th. And Ben told his wife, I don't want to lose any work. So make sure to have the baby on the day when the store's not open. So, Darya, if you don't mind, we'll sing happy birthday to Grandpa Bob. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.